today. I have something a little different for you guys. I hope you clicked on this video because of the title. We are going to make chili rellenos. I'm going to take you guys through the process of how I make them, and it used to be super intimidating to me. It seemed like it was super hard work. Definitely, this is a dish that you make for those that are special and close to you. It's not something that I would make for large crowds. You know, it's tedious and it's time consuming. But now that I've made them so many times, it's not intimidating anymore, and I find it actually very easy. It's funny because when I told Ernie I was going to be making them today, he told me, ugh, and I said, what did you do that face for? And he said, it's a lot of work. So anyways, it's a labor of love is what it is. And it's not a lot of work. It's not hard. It's just there's steps that have to be taken. So I'm not sure what kind of chilies you're used to having your rellenos in, but we use poblanos. So I picked up, how many did I get? 8, 9, 10. I'm going to be making 10, and there's so many different sizes. There's different sizes to meet different needs. And I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about if these are spicy or not. No, but typically they are not spicy, but every once in a while you will catch one with a bite. So keep that in mind. 9.5 times out of 10, you're not getting any spice to them. First step is to get these charred so that we can get them sweating. So we're going to char them, blacken them, and then we're going to put them in a bag, tie that bag up, and we're going to let the skin sweat off so that it makes for easy rinsing. And I'll take you guys through all those steps. So that is step 1, so let's take care of that. Have them on the rack. Yes, I'm wearing shorts because we're in Florida and it's hot and muggy. It's thunderstorming outside right now. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and put them in here. Maybe I'll put it on broil. All right, ovens scare me. I know, I'm always in the kitchen. You guys are probably going, what the heck? But they scare me. Okay, that was a lot. So as soon as those are done sweating, then I will pick you guys back up and we'll do the next step. We're literally not going to do anything else until those are done. So, but I promise you these are going to come together so beautifully. You're making simple, delicious Mexican food. The ingredients are very simple, very plain. It's the love, the amor that goes into it. But it's very simple ingredients, and it's how you put them together that really makes a delicious dish. And I think that that's lost on a lot of people. I know that in the South, they love to put cumin in everything. And I don't think my mother-in-law has ever put cumin in one thing that we've ever had at her house to eat. I could be wrong. I've added cumin to some things, but my mother, I think that there's a place for cumin, and I think that there's a place where we just keep it fresh and simple. And rellenos, you guys are going to see, the most delicious rellenos are so simple and so delicious. And the ingredients are so inexpensive. So you're going to get a really inexpensive, delicious, highly nutritious meal for you and your fam. Now, the way I stuff them can be totally changed to meet your family's needs, but I'm going to do them the way I do them, the way we enjoy them. And as I'm doing that, I'll tell you the different alternatives that you can use to stuff your rellenos. All right. Let me get these roasted and then we'll take you on the next step. Except for one, I'm just waiting for that one, but now I have them in a bag, and I'm just going to close this bag and let them continue to rest and steam. And what that does is it helps the skin come off a lot easier. So I actually like this method easier, putting it in the oven, because I feel like it does the whole skin, whereas when I do it on the fire, I'm constantly flipping them. So lesson learned. Okay guys, these are okay to handle now, I believe. Still kind of warm. So, they might still be a little bit hot. We're just gonna peel these, and this is kind of the tedious job. Take off all of the skin, just like that. And this is the tedious part of it. So I'm gonna take care of all of these, and I'm also going to make, well, I'll get all of the skin taken off of these, but you're just gonna take your time. This is really the tedious part that nobody likes to do, but it must be done. So let me get this taken. Running it underwater is so easy. The skin comes off pretty easy this way. Or you can get a large bowl, which I typically do at home because I have a gigantic stainless bowl, and I fill that with water, and then I just push, this underwater, and I do the same exact thing. It just helps to remove the skin a lot easier, and you get a good rinse. And then I'm going to show you the next step after this. So I got them all peeled, and you saw I ran them underwater. So sometimes not all the skin comes off, and I don't like to risk tearing them, even though sometimes I tear them, but I just get them off as best as I can. Most of the time you will end up with a natural slit. So what I do is I just put my finger in there and kind of loosen up the seeds inside there. And then I just run water. I'll show you. So here's the slit right here. I just kind of run water inside. Just like that. Just like that, so they're nice and clean. So I'm going to do all of these, and then we'll come back to the next step. Okay guys, we're going to go ahead and move over to the stove and get a pan heated up. We're going to add some avocado oil. About a quarter of an onion that was left over, Ernie had in the fridge. So we're going to go ahead and get that sliced up. Turn this down a little bit. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get that added to the pan. That to heat up. I have one potato. It's a good size. It's about the size of a large baking potato, and we're going to get that diced up about the same size as the onions. Now that the onions are translucent, I'm going to go ahead and add my potatoes. I got them all cut up nice and small. And I actually only used half of the potato. I'm cooking with one hand because I cut myself. And Ernie doesn't have any Band-Aids here. I actually only used half of the potato. I'm going to save this. Maybe get that cooked up for Ernie for mornings. Okay, so I'm cooking the potatoes before I add the ground beef because the potatoes take longer to cook than the ground beef does. And then we're going to add garlic and salt and pepper, but I want to wait until the meat's in there to do that. And I want to make sure that the meat is just about done cooking before I add the garlic, the minced garlic, because I don't want that to burn. And that is going to be our filling for the rellenos. I want to tell you that you probably, if you're somebody who does not make these, you probably go to a restaurant and they serve you rellenos and they're stuffed with cheese. You can absolutely omit this meat and potato mixture and just do cheese if you want. This is how we like to eat ours. They're stinking delicious. For you and your family likes, that's what you put in your rellenos. So while I'm waiting for this to cook, let me turn this down a little bit. I want to talk to you about the chilies. Them are going to split like this, and it's going to be perfect to stuff. And some of them are going to fall apart sometimes, and you just have to own that. And you have to manhandle the chilies, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. I have never mastered getting them charred and peeled at a perfect texture so that they don't rip. I've never mastered that. So I've learned how to manhandle the chilies. So that is what I'm going to show you guys how to do. So those I think are the little tiny steps that happen when you're making this dish where people go, ugh, I don't want to make it. It's not that difficult. You just have to manhandle your food. That's all you got to do. Okay, now that my potatoes are looking really good, and this is why you want them cut up really small, not only because they're going to be, you know, part of the stuffing of your rellenos, but you want them to cook really quick. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ernie shows up at the door with a Band-Aid, because I texted him and asked him where the Band-Aids were, and he said he didn't have any. All right. We're going to get the ground beef just about almost cooked through, and then we're going to add our garlic and our salt and our pepper. Okay, the meat is just about cooked through, so now I'm going to add probably a good tablespoon of the minced garlic. I love using this one in the tube. Some salt and some freshly ground black pepper. Give that a mix. All right, our meat is going to finish cooking through, and then we're going to turn it off and let it sit and cool down because we want it nice and cool before we work with it. Okay, I was right. Ernie brought me a Band-Aid. All right, I have a plate of flour here. I'm just going to take my rellenos and just do that. I'm not dredging them in the flour just like that because we want our egg mixture to stick. Here's my meat mixture, and I'm just going to take a little bit of the flour and sprinkle it inside and give that a mix until you don't see any more flour. And all this does is help hold the mixture together. I probably put, I don't know, a tablespoon in here, and it just holds the meat mixture together. You don't have to worry about it tasting like flour or anything. It's just enough. There's just enough gluten in that flour to thicken it up. We are going to stuff our peppers. So you're just going to put a little bit inside. I'm careful to not, I mean, I've got a tear over here. You know, you don't want to overstuff them. The problems start when you overstuff them. So that's plenty right there. Just like that. I want to separate my egg whites from my egg yolks. All right, got that done. The pan on the stove with about, I don't know, I filled up the bottom of the pan with avocado oil because we're going to be frying in just a minute. It's super important that your oil is heating up when you're doing this part with the eggs. So that's why I have that turned on, because once I start dipping my rellenos in the egg mixture, I want to get them in that hot oil to brown up. To make sure to do that step. You don't want to be waiting while your egg whites are starting to disintegrate. Nice stiff peaks. So now we're going to take our egg yolks and we are going to fold those in. Just like that. So we're going to take our rellenos and we're just going to dip them in the egg mix. This is a very messy job. Oh, and they're going to want to fall apart, but that's okay. Own them and lay them in the oil. Any areas that are uncovered, you can just cover up with your finger, just like that. This part I hated. I thought I was doing it wrong, but you know what? They come out nice and fluffy and beautiful, and they taste amazing. So okay, I'm just going to grab a couple of spatulas and I'm just going to carefully flip these over to the other side so the other side can get cooked. And I'm going to use the spatula to kind of like push the oil up against the side so that the egg mixture gets cooked. Remember, you're just browning them. They're going to get put into the sauce, which we're going to be making here in just a little bit. And they're going to continue cooking. So everything is going to cook really well. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can make these, set them off to the side, let them cool, make your sauce, and then you can put them in the sauce and let them all just kind of, you know, meld together. Or you can serve them and pour the hot sauce over the top. Totally up to you. My mother-in-law always puts them in the sauce and serve them like that. And so that is how I do it, but you can do it either way you want. But just carefully get these flipped over, and you just want to make sure that all of the egg mixture is completely cooked. Okay, here they are. This one got a little dark, but this is what they look like so far. I told you they're not perfect, and the stem is covered up here. You normally would see that at a restaurant, but I don't care. And I have one or two where the stem came off, but anyways, they are delicious. So I'm gonna finish frying up the other two. I ran out of egg mixture, so I'm gonna do 2 more eggs for the last couple, and then I'll show you guys how I make the sauce for these. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. They're so good. Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get the sauce started. So I have a pot of water here. I've really been enjoying using these Campari tomatoes. They're super sweet, and I've just been loving them, so I buy them a lot. I'm gonna use a whole package because they're rather small little tomatoes, and they're great to snack on too, just FYI. We're gonna go ahead and add those into the water. I would say that's equal to 2 large tomatoes. Get half of this onion in with the tomatoes. This is probably a small, on the smaller side, a medium onion. Pop that in there. We're gonna bring this to a boil. I need to take some of that water out. We're gonna bring this just to a boil, and once it comes to a boil, we're gonna turn it off the heat, and we're gonna let the tomatoes and the onion just sit there for a minute and cool down a little bit. Okay guys, we are ready to get this all blended up. I'm actually hoping this makes enough to do rice too, because this is the exact same recipe that I use to make my Mexican rice. Again here, I'm gonna use some of my minced garlic and get about, let's see, I don't know, a couple teaspoons in there. Secret. Bouillon, caldo de pollo, and I'm gonna use about, I guess that's about a tablespoon. Cold water in there. Put the lid on, let's blend it, and then we're gonna give it a taste and see if we like it. More. Maybe about another tablespoon. Perfect. Now, we're just gonna pour this into the pan. I have my stove on medium-high. Okay, so typically, if I have el pato, and el pato is like a spicy tomato sauce. If I have el pato, I'll add about, if they are 8-ounce cans, I'll add about half, about 4 ounces to this sauce. But I don't have any el pato right now, so this is just fine. But we have one more thing we're gonna add to this. I'm gonna show you guys. Trying to clean as I go, but I have a mess. Okay, so one of the things I add as well are chayote. It's a squash, and they didn't have any here. So it's not necessary. You do not have to add that to your sauce. It just beefs it up and adds a little bit more vitamins. So I'm just gonna use regular squash. Now, because we know that squash cooks up really quickly, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get them sliced up. It's just nice to have that little extra, and I'm doing them kind of thick. Have that little extra something in your sauce. And why not add veggies where we can, right? And for those of you who might not be aware of what a chayote is, it's a Mexican squash. I think it's Mexican, I'm not sure. We use it a lot in our cooking. But it's the shape of a pear. It's the color of a pear. It has a seed in the center, and it's the texture of a potato. So it's very hearty, and they're delicious. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these cut up. I got them cut up. But we're going to have my big pan here. So what I'm gonna do is take my rellenos and just place them in the sauce like this. I mean, look at these, you guys. They're so lovely. Wonderful. Now you can see why I think that's it. That's what I'm gonna, so this is for dinner tonight, and then Ernie for lunch, and then I'm gonna freeze those 3 up there. Now you can see why this is a meal that you make for those really special people in your lives, because, you know, it's, like I said, it's tedious. There's a lot of steps, but they're so delicious, and it's just something special to really make. When you put this on the table for your family, they know you love them because it's a lot of work. So anyways, I've added the zucchini. I've added the zucchini and the chilies, and I'm gonna bring this to a simmer, and once it comes to a simmer, I'm gonna put it on low and put the lid on it. And once those zucchini are starting to soften up, I'm gonna turn off the heat because the rellenos are cooked, the sauce is pretty much cooked, and we just want those zucchini to get soft, and you know, we want all the flavors to meld together. I'll give you guys a final shot of what they look like. I'm gonna get the kitchen cleaned up, and then I need to make some rice, and then I'm gonna freeze those, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do that. I have this small tin. I'm gonna place these in here. Just like that. And we're gonna place this in the freezer for a few hours, or until these are hard. And then I'm gonna take you on the next step on how we're gonna freeze these. It's called flash freezing. So all you're doing is you're getting your item in the freezer and you're freezing it hard, especially if you're gonna vacuum seal, because if you try and vacuum seal something like that, it's gonna just squish it. So you wanna freeze it before you vacuum seal it in about 3 hours, and then we're gonna vacuum seal them, in individual packages. And then there's gonna be plenty of sauce left over here, so I'll take some of this sauce and I'll flash freeze little batches, and then I'll vacuum seal that. That way Ernie has little meal preps to pull out of the freezer for himself. So that's 3 meals right there. Okay, there's a tad bit of cleaning motivation in this video because I've got to keep the kitchen clean, especially when I make these types of meals. Otherwise, I'm completely overwhelmed. So I clean as I go, and then when I've got the main portion of the meal done, then I get the kitchen completely clean. That way, all I have to do are our dinner dishes. It smells amazing in here. Kitchen is clean. I just have to run the dishwasher. I'll do that after dinner. Made my afternoon coffee. I've got rice going, and these are done. I turned it off. Whoa. Look at, oh, I cannot wait to eat dinner. I will show you guys what these look like when I serve them up. The rice is done, and I can't take it anymore. It smells so good. So I'm gonna serve just a little bit. So good. You can't see the sauce because I put it in a bowl, but we're gonna cut into one. It's falling off. Oh my goodness. So good. Oh my gosh, that tastes like home. Like home. So good. I mean, look at that. I've never had regular zucchini with this because, like I said, we always do chayote, but I'm gonna give it a shot. So stinking good. Don't go yet because I want to see in a couple of hours what those rellenos are like, and we still have to get those prepped for the freezer because I think it would be good for all of us to know if we can make these ahead of time and store them in the freezer. I think that would be fabulous. So perfect. They're perfectly hard. My hands are clean. Perfectly hard. And that's how you want them. Okay. Okay, we did it. Now we know that we can freeze rellenos. They're gonna taste delicious, just like the day you made them. And this is protecting them from freezer burn, so you can make these ahead of time and have them in your freezer, and I love that. So I'm very happy to know that I can freeze these. This is gonna be so nice for my freezer at home. I'm very excited about that. I can do like a big batch day, which I've been wanting to do for a while, big batch cooking, because, but I'm always wondering if I can do this kind of stuff. I mean, imagine having something like this ready to go and all you gotta do is make rice. That I would not freeze. Rice is so easy to make anyways, but anyways, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys got some cooking inspiration to make something delicious in your kitchen today. A little bit of cleaning motivation, that's what I'm here. A little bit of homemaking motivation. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for staying till the end, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.